welcome back to my YouTube channel. Victoria here. Thank you so much for taking out time to watch and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and for liking my videos. In this tutorial I want to show you how you can make this messy bun beanie. Yes, it's easy to make and it's beginner friendly. If you haven't done this, it's easier for you to make. Please leave a comment for me in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and let's get into this. To begin with, all you'll need is your main color. I'm using red as my main color, and the waist yarn, I'm using lemon green as my waist yarn, and your 2 needle transfer tool. There is one. You need your transfer tool, yarn needle, here's my yarn needle, and let's get started. I'll start by pulling out 65. It depends on the circumference of your head. Here I'm using 65, 64 needles that I'm going to be pulling into the working position. Cast on using the main color. You'll set your row counter to 4, your tension to 4, and row counter beginning 0, 0, 0, and you knit 1 row. Make sure you hang your comb every time you knit 1 row so that the thread doesn't come off the needles, and then continue knitting 15 rows. Increase your tension to 10. Dial back to 4. I knit more 15 rows. Now here you take your row counter back to 0, 0. So in case you have a stitch marker, please go on and mark this part as the back. But if you don't have, you can just use any thread like this. Just mark it, because in this pattern we are going to keep removing and putting back onto the machine, so it's better you know where the back is and the front is. If you look at this, now we are going to first do this part, these rows, then this and this and that. Okay, I'll move my tension, I'll increase it to 5, and then knit 15 rows. Straight 15 rows, no increases. So at this point I will remove the yarn from the carriage this main yarn, and then I feed in the waste yarn. I'll lift up my row counter, the thing which beats on the row counter, and I do a few rows using the waste yarn. Make sure the number of rows you're using with the waste yarn, it's an even number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll only do 6 rows of the waste yarn. Cut it off and I put it just on the side, and then I will knit without any yarn in the carriage and remove the work from the machine, then turn it like this with the right facing me and feed back to the machine. So you pick this stitch, this, and then you put them back onto the machine in the same needles that you picked them from. So after picking up all the stitches, you pull the needles to the working position, making sure that every needle has a work on it, and then you push this back so that it counts with a row counter, and then you knit 15 rows. Then you switch again and use your waste yarn to knit 15 a few rows, an even number of rows. Tear it off and remove the work from the machine, and then turn your work again. Remember, I always don't cut this main thread. I always leave it. I hold it somewhere by the end of the machine, so that when I'm knitting again, it continues. I don't cut it. So here again, I'll pick up my stitches and put them back to the machine. So you will do this for a total of 75 rows. You need 15 rows, then a few rows with a waste yarn. Pick up your stitches, feed them back to the machine, and then knit 15 more rows like that to a number of times you want. So I'm going to go ahead and knit up to this point where I'll be creating the rib, the second rib. Now after reaching the 75th row, I'm going to create the rib, this upper rib. This you create it by picking up stitches and dropping some, picking, drop and feed to the next, so that it is a one by one rib effect. We've done this with the shorts. You can check my previous video about making shorts, how I did the waist. It's the same way that I'm doing this. You just pick stitches, transfer to the next, and push back the needle that it doesn't have the work on to the resting position, so that it doesn't knit when you're passing over the carriage. So you do this to all the stitches. You remain with one by one, and there we shall be creating the second part of the rib. So after doing this, you push your counter up to 0, 0, 0, and your tension to 3, and knit 15 by 15 rows. Up stitches here where I'd started dropping from, and I pick up this and feed it into these ones which are in the resting position all the way. So after picking up all the stitches, you take the tension to 4 and you make one row, and then you cast off. After casting off from the machine, you leave a tail, a long tail that you're going to use to join here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to remove this waist yarn because right now I don't need it. So with the waist yarn off, remember this is the back, which is the inside part, so I'm just going to remove it. And stretch this rib a bit. The same applies for this rib. And then right now I'm going to join using this tail that I'd left at the upper end of the rib. I'm joining with the blind stitch method. So I've been doing that method in very many of my videos. So let's go ahead. You go ahead. I'm going to join this off camera and I show you when the work is done. So this is how the lace seasoning band has turned out to be. Now I have 2 of these. It's a client's order and I'm going to be working on the third one in the beige color. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave for me a comment in the comment section below. And in case you make one, please tag me on Instagram at Abooki. I'll be happy to see your work. Thank you so much. See you next time.